Hi everybody, Rachelle Jones, Lunch and Live at 11:45. It's Friday, February 28th, the 28th of February, leap year tomorrow. So, I was almost late, to be honest. Whew, I was sweating for a second, but here we are. So, thank you for being here. Thank you for joining, sharing your time and space with me, and just being present in the conversation. So, and it is hot in my car. It's not necessarily super hot outside and I have windows down, but what's going to happen, hey Nicole, and Judy, hi, thanks. What's going to happen is if the phone gets too hot, it will pause and that will be the end of it. So just letting you know, since I meet in my car to pick up my child from school, if it pauses because it's too hot, there's not going to be much I can do. Hi, Jackie, hi. Oh, how's the week for everybody? What's going on? How's everyone feeling? Hi. Hearts. Hey, wait, I could do that too, right? Can I? I can. Nice. That's fun. Okay, so, hi, thanks for joining. Thank you very much. So today, how many of you know someone who has some kind of addiction? Hey Cheryl, everybody, thanks for coming in. So talking about addiction today. How many of us know someone? Oh, there's my husband, everybody, with the hearts. So let's see, can I give him, nope, I've messed it up now. I can't do it. There it is. Still learning, always learning. So today, wondering about addiction. How many of us know someone with some type of addiction? You do. Probably most of us know someone with some type of addiction. I bet you, though, when we think about addiction, we think of really heavy things like alcohol or drugs or, I don't know, what about something a little bit more, maybe not as, I don't want to say life-altering, but not as maybe frowned upon. Some people do frown upon it, right? Oh, look at you guys are talking to each other. Love when that happens. But how about addiction to sugar? Addiction to food? I mean, that could be a coping mechanism. Yep. So in the grief recovery method, sure, we call them in society. Hi, thanks for joining. We call them coping mechanisms. Hey, Joe. We call them coping mechanisms. Talking about addiction today. Do you know someone who has some type of addiction? But yeah, in society we call them coping mechanisms, or some people call them like numbing out, like what I do to just take a break, what I do to just calm down. But coping mechanisms, yeah, that's generally the one. In the grief recovery method, we have a term called STIRB. It's an acronym, short term energy relieving behavior. Jojo says retail therapy. Yeah, but addiction, that is absolutely could be an addiction, and it has a ripple effect, right? Even retail therapy. So we actually, I think a lot of us have an addiction that we didn't even realize. Hey, Kel, thanks for joining. Talking about addiction today, if you're new, just joining in. Addiction. Do we know people who have different types of addictions? And I think generally when we think of addiction, we think toward alcohol or drugs, even recreational or prescription, right? Today it could be prescription just as much. But I'm also thinking of addictions like food, sugar, salt. We can be addicted to food, right? How about addiction to exercise? Hey, thank you for joining. Thank you. Talking about addiction today. Thinking of different types of addictions. Where we numb out. Where we just let our energy go because that feels good. It either cuts off the heavy emotional energy that we've got going on now, or it just prevents it from coming. Or sometimes I've heard of people who drink or engage in some type of activity just so they could feel, because that's the only time they can get real. So let's think about, there are sex addictions, pornography addictions, there are shopping, like we said. How about people who are addicted to like plastic surgery and fillers, and or changing their hair a million times? You know, they change their hair color every third day. how about that? How about those types of addictions? I have addictions too, and they've changed and they've grown over the years, maybe adjusted. So my secret addictions, they're not so Netflix, fantasy. Yeah, fantasy. It could be Netflix, social media. Oh my goodness, social media is huge, right? And we could just be addicted to those, or even online gaming, or just gaming in general, where we just go and numb out because energy is too much, or that's the only time I get to connect with my emotions. So there could be any myriad or different reasons of why we end up with our connections. But how about FOMO? Yep, fear of missing out. Social media is my crutch. Yes. Yeah, good. I'm glad that you're seeing this, because we do. We have that. I wish I could switch out my addiction for some healthy ones. Now, that's true. Well, hopefully we all could build our addiction to be grief recovery focused, right? Where we don't just hold on to this energy that we need to numb out. We don't need to go to some type of addiction or some sort of comfort measure. We just deal with the emotion so it can go away. Go be still, and then we have space to experience a new one. Maybe the new one's joy. I don't know. OS, that's a big one for me. What's his FOMO? Okay. Good, awesome. All right, my secret ones are people pleasing. I have 3 really. People pleasing is my secret addiction that I've had to work tirelessly on. People pleasing, is that anybody's, what is that? What am I trying to say? Addiction. I forgot my own word. How about performance? Sugar. Oh, I hear sure. Ideally, how about sugar? Yes, sugar could be a huge addiction, and there could be extremes, right? There could be, I'm addicted to. Let's think of bulimia and anorexia, this unhealthy addiction to food, or this unhealthy connection to food, using food to control our emotions. The thing about addictions are they do work for a little while, but then whatever the addiction is wears off. So then the energy pops back up, the emotions bubble back up, and we've got to go back into our addiction or pick up another one. There could be exercise addiction. I just need yoga. I just need to go practice yoga. Sure, that's great. It's only a short-term fix though. It's not a long-term fix. Hey, Gabby. People pleasing is my addiction, but I've shortened the list of who I need to please. Okay, progress. Woo! First of all, awareness is amazing. Good job for you. And then shortening the list. Outstanding. Great. Wouldn't it be ideal if we could get you to be at the top of the list, where you are filling up yourself from the inside and then living authentically to yourself and not needing the approval of others to live in that space? That is amazing. And it's really hard to achieve. It takes a stupid amount of work. But just becoming awareness is, look at that. Awareness is amazing. Yes. Woo, 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 woo. So people pleasing is mine. Performance and perfection. So people pleasing, usually we're groomed into this. We're not born with it. We're groomed into it. We maybe have a childhood or a romantic relationship where it's not safe all the time. And so we learn how to overcompensate. We can see the disasters before they ever start. Talking about walking on eggshells, we can see them coming. And so if we keep all the people around us happy and managed, well then guess what? We don't have to have our own buildup of energy that we don't even know what to do with. So it's part of a bigger addiction, or it's part of a bigger problem. It's an emotional energy problem that we don't know what to do with the excess. If we think about people pleasing, performance, if I just perform to the top degree, get the best grades, have the best work ethic, have the best of something, performance, I could perform like a master with the I'm fine, my feelings inside not expressed. I'm fine, I'm good, right? We could totally perform in such a way where we keep everybody's energy down and keep our own energy down, because if nobody really knows what's going on inside, then we don't have to feel it. We don't have to acknowledge it. Hi, thanks for joining. How about people-pleasing performance perfection? If I just am the best at this and I'm the best at that, I used to play softball, right? And I happened to be a freshman who made the softball team, the only freshman who made the varsity team. And I was able to hide behind that. That was a level of perfection. I got praise for that, which we want praise. So then we just feed into our addiction more because that feels good. I'm getting a feedback from it. Good grades, straight A's. So I see straight A kids. People will say all the time, "Oh, my kids, they're doing great. They've got straight A's." That doesn't mean anything to me. Let me have time with your person. Let me have time with your child. Let me see the interaction. Let me see them. Let me just talk with them themselves. Not that I don't actually work with kids, but I do get to talk with them a lot, working with the sheriff's department and all that stuff. So perfection is still not an absence of grief. Sometimes we do that so that we fit in, to be accepted. How about socializing, like putting our life on social media, looking for that feedback, looking for that that thumbs up, how many people liked it, how many people commented, how many people, are going to give me feedback so I can feel good about myself. What other? Hi sis, we're talking about addiction. Do we have our own addictions? Do we know people who are addicts? And the thing about them is, I want you to not think of these different addictions: people-pleasing, performance, perfection. I had another one for a long time called prayer. So I would just go pray hard that in my situation, which is not bad if that's what you believe, if that's what I believe, and so that's what I would do. Not bad, but I didn't know what to do in addition to the prayer. It was just like, okay, I threw it out there and I'm waiting. I would play crickets right now if I knew how to make that sound come in. It becomes a sort of addiction. I'll call it a short-term energy relieving behavior, because it does work. Okay, I give it to God, and then I just gotta wait. But then the waiting, and then the stuff keeps happening, and then, oh my gosh. So it was a short-term fix, but it wasn't long-term, and we want long-term, right? We don't want to be a slave to our addiction. If we're addicted to exercise, great, that's gonna work as long as your body holds out. But what happens if you break a limb, or your gym closes, or something happens big in your life and you can't go engage in that addiction anymore? What happens if you're eating perfectly, all organic and amazing because that's how you feel best? But what happens if your budget crashes and you can't afford that perfect diet anymore? What's going to happen when something changes and you can't go to that external, outward addiction or short-term energy relieving behavior, that STIRB? What happens if you can't engage in that because something changes? It works right now, but what happens if it changes? You're going to have all the energy that we've been suppressing, all the emotions that we've been pushing down with our addiction, trying to manage. I love when you guys start talking to each other. It's so fun. It's not going to work, because those were only short-term fixes. I literally saw, there's a woman who Oprah Winfrey endorses. I just saw it yesterday and she literally tweeted, I was on Twitter, of, "If your heart is broken, fix your head." And I was like, what in the holy heck are you talking about? If your heart is broken, first of all, it's not broken, it's just wounded. If your heart is wounded, fix your heart. If your toe is wounded, fix your toe. If my tooth is wounded, I'm not going to fix my butt. I'm going to fix my tooth. I mean, duh. Where does this stuff come from? But hey, people like what's cool and easy. So Mel Robbins, no. Iyanla, it starts with an I. It's like Iyanla or Izanya. No, that's... Okay, I apologize. But I could see in my head, that was too close to lasagna. And so that was just like, Rachelle, what are you talking about? Come on, stop that. Iyanla. I'm not certain. But she's highly endorsed by Oprah freaking Winfrey, you guys. And she's still sending out incorrect information sometimes. Like, that's not okay. There's a 1% population called Grief Recovery Method Specialists who are going to tell you the truth. You can't fix your wounded heart by going to a totally different area. If you close your eyes, we're going to do it. Close your eyes. 60 seconds. All right, let's do 30. And I want you to think of a painful, painful situation. Somebody who wronged you, somebody who hurt you. Close your eyes. 30 seconds, go. What you're doing is you're thinking about 30 seconds, think about that painful situation that hurt you. Somebody said something mean, unkind, didn't show up, just didn't listen, abandoned you, neglected you. All right? 30 seconds. Well, that wasn't quite 30 seconds, but I'm going to go anyway. If you think about that moment with your eyes closed, you had a physical sensation in your body. And your physical sensation, because it was an emotional event you're thinking of, was felt somewhere from your neck to it was felt in your core, which is like basically your neck to your lower abdomen there, just above your pelvis. When you have emotional situations, they're emotional and you feel them. They have a physical sensation that goes along with them, and you feel them somewhere in your core. You do not feel them in your head. That is absolutely a piece of misinformation to think that if your heart's wounded, fix your head. There's nothing wrong with your head. So, I want you to be careful who you're following out there. Just because they're highly endorsed doesn't mean they're sending out correct information. Not everything you hear is going to be correct. A grief recovery method specialist is trained, and their methods are proven by science to be effective. So I want you to just be really mindful and cognizant of what you're hearing out there. Think about your addictions. Are they working long term? They are working short term. You're right. But I want you to think about your addictions as not good or bad. Get out of the good or bad. Get out of the self-judgment, the self-hatred, the self-loathing, the deprecating thoughts. Get out of the good and bad. Think about your addictions a little bit more as helpful, effective long-term, or not. Because it might help you in that moment. It might be the only thing you could do in that moment is to engage in that STIRB or that short-term fix, that addiction. That might be the only thing you could do in that moment. Give yourself grace and credit because at least you did something. It's not about good or bad. Your short-term fixes are about, did that actually cure the problem? Okay? Is it a long-term fix? Or is it short-term? I'll have to go back to it later. Okay? So I want you to think about your heart and your wounds, how we're choosing to numb out to them or cope with them. Are they really working or not? Long term. Okay? Does that make sense? So we all have our addictions, people pleasing, approval, what I'm so thankful for Jerem. Awesome. Thank you. Me too. Because operating under a people-pleasing mentality is so externally focused, and it doesn't work. Because guess what happens? People change. They move. They get new ideas. They learn something new. They just break. They fall. They can't hold up the way you thought they were going to. And if you've placed all your hope and dreams and expectations, all your self-worth, all your feeling good on the weight and shoulders of another person, expect to fall. They're only human. So people-pleasing is not going to win for long-term wellness, emotional wellness, guys. That's what we're after. Your mental, emotional are absolutely connected. If I have a wound in my toe, it's going to sing and vibrate in my brain, right? But it's not my brain that has the wound, so I'm not going to fix my brain. I'm going to fix the toe. But there is a connection. Do we see that? That my brain's going to be like, Rachelle, woo, it's hurting. Woo, I can't concentrate. Woo, I can't sleep. I don't know. I was going to tell you something, but I forgot because my toe is bothering me. So that's the connection of it keeps inserting itself. I'm trying to get your attention. Don't chemicalize and pill up the brain trying to numb the signals. Follow the signals. Let's learn what to do. I teach this class in a 2-day format. I could change your life in 2 days, and that's not a joke. I'm not just saying that. I will teach you what to do in 2 days. Are you kidding me? We should have 2 days. to heal our life and know how to be more present for that of others. So if you don't like that format, I will travel to you. But if you don't like the 2-day format, I do have an 8-day online or in person. You get to choose. I just got off an online appointment. That's why I was screeching here. It happens. But anyway, I sure love you so much. Thank you for being here, for your feedback, for your honesty. Look at your life. Chew on it. Where are we putting our time and energy? Is it long term? Is it really going to work? And what happens if it's external, if it's outside of you, if that situation changes? Are you actually going to feel better for good? Or are you going to be hunting around for a new addiction? Food for thought. I love you all. Phone call came in. That's how it is. But I love you all. I'm thankful for your time. I'm thankful for your thoughts and your heart and your connection and this little space in your life. Please like, subscribe, and follow if you find something that's helpful for you, because we've got to spread the word. I love you. I'll talk to you next time. Bye, everybody.